Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this final video lecture on advanced persistent threats attribution and detection video series. So in this whole video series we have seen various things related to APT. So starting from very scratch level we have seen what is APTs and what are all state sponsored APT groups, and we have seen what is the standard naming convention with respect to APT groups, and we have seen what is the life cycle phases of APT, and what is APT attribution, and what are all different frameworks and methods available for APT attribution. And in the later part of this video series we have seen what is APT detection and what are all different techniques that are available for APT detection in the real time. We have seen the APT detection mechanisms by using machine learning frameworks, and then we have seen how we can able to detect the APTs by using event tracking mechanisms, and what are all multifactorial dimensions, and what how this can be helpful in APT detection, etc. So although we have seen, security community came up with different techniques, still there is a lot of gap between the current APT mechanisms and the current APT detection mechanisms, and the way the APT malware and the groups are evolving day by day in this modern cyber era. So here the key problem is that, unlike many other traditional malware detection, we can't say that this is one particular solution to solve a particular APT problem. And I have been working on this particular field for last 3 years, and in my observation, APT attribution is considered as a pure art form, and APT detection is considered as a pure technical thing. So in my opinion, I feel that, one has to know in and out of this APT attribution as a process to come up with a very good solution to detect a APT. So this is what I feel from, after working in this area for last 3 years. And another big challenge is that, the constant evolution of tools, techniques, procedures by APT groups and APT other have made a attack chain so agile that, it can be very easily reconfigurable, and so that it will be very difficult for the security community to come up with a proper solutions to address this problem. For example, I can say one thing. So we have seen that, snake group traditionally use watering hole attacks for initial compromise stage, but when they got to know that, the security community is tracking their activity, they simply changed their tools, techniques, procedures, and they started sending emails with, malicious attachments. So they differ in many ways. This is done by the same group, but, TTPs are quite different in nature. So it will be very difficult for, for security community to identify that, this was the same snake group behind this particular APT espionage as well. So they have entirely revamped its control and command servers and exploits, and the type of malware that they are using, and its approach as well. So this is very difficult task for, security community to track this kind of agile behavior of APT groups. And another big important thing is that, the targeted APT malware is mutated into a new variant called smart malware. So this smart malware is actually goal oriented. So basically it will have two goals. The primary goal is to either espionage to sabotage that particular victim network, and as a secondary goal it will try to perform some legitimate operations. So it will try to interact with several network protocols and several host level events, and it will try to look like as a legitimate application in the network, in the victim network. So it will be very difficult to deal with this kind of smart malwares in the recent times. And Clearly, after the post pandemic, we can see that the targeted fileless malware has evolved over more than a 500 times than the previous figures. So you can see that the potential threat, and most of the APT groups are started taking the advantage of lol bins and fileless malware to deploy the most sophisticated payloads in the recent times. So in a way we can say that defenders are far behind the APT groups in the real time. And so solar recent attacks on SolarWinds and Redeco attacks on Indian power grid system is the clear evidences for how we lag in terms of providing the security mechanisms to deal with the sophisticated APT malware. So in a conclusion thought, I can say that we need to have a comprehensive approach rather than identifying only the malware payloads or only targeting on the networks and only targeting on intrusion detection system. We need to have a comprehensive approach to identify the whole life cycle phases of APT, so that we can provide a better solution, end-to-end solutions for this kind of sophisticated APT attacks. And we at the same time we need to tight the screws of our several old school intrusion detection systems and old school protocols, and we need to tight those screws to minimize the damage of this damage from this kind of sophisticated APT attacks. So these are all the key takeaways one can look into, and one can work on different open areas in different life cycle phases and protocol level implementation and network packet level inspection of this to detect this kind of APT attacks. So these are all some open areas for new researchers to explore this field. And if you have any queries and what we have discussed throughout this video lecture, you can go through that in our publication called DMAPT. So in this thing we have briefed about what are all different approaches, and this literature survey will give a overall picture about what we have discussed throughout this video series. And feel free to reach me out in case if you have any queries as well. And this is my LinkedIn and official mail ID. You can drop me a mail and you can ping me at any time to discuss about these things and future research, and you can send your thoughts and queries as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video series on APT attribution and detections. Thank you everyone for your valuable time, and please provide us your valuable feedback so that we can improvise this video lecture series for the next future students as well. So once again, thank you everyone.